So good morning again. Thank you for spending your Wednesday morning with MIAC. My name is Lilia McEnany, and I am an assistant curator at the museum. And as you all know, we are here today to chat with Robert Begay. A few things before we get started. To begin, I would like to briefly acknowledge the place where this conversation is happening, even though we are in a virtual space and not physically at the museum here today, in Okopoge within the Tewa world. As a non-native person living in so-called Santa Fe, I am a guest in the ancestral homelands of the Tewa people, and I wish to acknowledge all of the indigenous communities, Pueblo, Dene, Apache, and so many others, past, present, and future, who walk on these lands and steward these places. And I would encourage everybody watching here today to also reflect on the lands on which they reside. So for those of you who do not know, the Goodman Aspiring Artist Fellowship was established at MIAC by Dr. and Mrs. Connie Goodman, who are members, friends, and supporters of the museum. The fellowship is designed to provide financial assistance to up-and-coming Native artists who show promise and are eager to move to the next level of their artistic development. Goodman Fellowships have often opened doors to other opportunities for recipients, such as artist residencies at the School for Advanced Research or the Santa Fe Art Institute, invitations to markets, as well as gallery and museum exhibitions. Recordings of each of these events are available on our YouTube channel, and these conversations will continue over the next few months, generally on the fourth Wednesday of every month at 10 a.m. So please keep an eye out on MIAC's social media and sign up for our newsletter for more information on other upcoming events. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Robert, and then we'll be doing a Q&A towards the end of the session, like I mentioned earlier. So again, thank you all for joining us, and welcome, Robert.
Hi, good morning. I hope everyone's doing good, and I hope they're healthy. And yeah, let's get started. So I am the 2020 to 2021 MIAC Goodman Aspiring Artist, and I just want to thank the Goodmans for giving me an opportunity to get some extra equipment, for helping me out. I'm very thankful. And I also want to thank Rob and Angela, plus the MIAC staff, for their help as well. So my name is Robert Whitehair Begay. I am Dine, and my first two clans are Tortachini and Touchini. I am from Gallup, New Mexico. I was born and raised here, and I currently live here for now. Right now, I only have a high school diploma, and we shall see what I'll do in the future. So I'm gonna start from the beginning. Age 4, that was when I started my career. This is an early piece of a hummingbird. This hummingbird has a crown, and he's calling the other hummingbirds to eat. And if you were to rotate the bracelet, you would see behind the king hummingbird is other hummingbirds, and they're eating. So I thought that was very fun and special. So this is my first time winning an art contest around age 4 or 5, when I was in kindergarten. I always remember this. It was I spent a lot of time on this. It's very beautiful. Yeah, it reminds me of like glass art, and I think my color choice is just phenomenal. And my color combinations are they what do you call it? They they work together. Yeah. So that was very fun. And yeah, that was the first time I ever won something for art. So fast forward 2 years later, this is my first time entering SWAIA, the Santa Fe Indian Market, at age 6. And I had gotten a first place for a seed pot. The seed pot had like it had a teepee, and it had like an angel above it. And so I think that was very fun. And I got a second place for a painting I did. I'm not sure. I think there's a photo somewhere. I couldn't get it because, long story short, my brother, who's very he likes technology, so he likes to take apart things sometimes. And one day he decided to take apart my father's hard drive, and and as he was putting it back together, maybe he was cleaning it, and he wiped out the memory. Yeah. so so that's why I couldn't provide the photos. But that was also the year 2009. My parents, Darryl Dean and Rebecca T. Begay, won the Best of Show. And if you can see on the right photo, I'm I'm sticking my head underneath the booth, and my father is holding the Best of Show piece. That was very fun. So at age 6, Martha Struever decided to write an article on me, and I'm very thankful for that. She saw something in me, and she believed in me, and sadly she's not with us anymore. She passed away a few years ago, and if I could thank her one more time, I would, because she definitely believed in me. And I have my moments of self-doubt, but when I read her article, it gives me self-confidence, and I just appreciate that very much. You can go to her website at marthastruever.com. She has or you can look up my name. Yeah, she has a little write-up about me. So the left 2 photos are from her website, and this is what the painting I did in 2009. The first one is you have stars and angels along with turtles. And I think the turtles were inspired by my father because of his jewelry. And it's just a very magical piece. And it was very fun. And this is the one that Martha used for her website. And on the right side, there was a painting, and it was inspired by my father's work, and it had feathers. He would use a turquoise face, but I guess I would put my twist on it. And in my head, he was singing, and he was singing to Jesus. But there's a cross, and Jesus was on there, and I think there was an angel and hummingbirds, and it was like, they were kind of praising Jesus. And yeah, so at age 9, I got a little more advanced. I think I tried to recreate Douglas Miles' Apache on the far left. You can see more improvement, and I was trying to figure out how to shade. So that was fun. And in the middle, you have a grandmother drawing, Jeanette influenced. And on the far right, you have a grandpa, or a Navajo man, and he has his hogan and his truck, and he has the mountains, kind of like New Mexico scene, and it's at nighttime, and he's wearing a bow tie, so that's very fun. So this is still age 9. It's a charcoal drawing on the far left, and yeah, this is a Navajo man, a portrait of a Navajo man again, and this time he has a mustache. Some Navajos are able to have mustaches. Most you can kind of have like a little mustache, but we can't have like full beards. And my father says if Navajos were to grow full beards, they would look Asian. But yeah, some Navajos do have mustaches. and I consider them lucky because I can't really grow one. And on the left side, I'm not sure if you can see what he's saying. I mean, on the right side, it's a painting of a Navajo man, and it says, "Yadallah, you just ate." And Yadallah is like an expression. It's like, come on, you know, and and I think I live in Gallup, so it's mainly Navajo for the population. And yeah, I guess I can at the age of 9, um I would capture that expression. Yeah. So, it could be used like if you're waiting in line, it could be used, when you're impatient. So at the age of 9, I I used to play the flute. I think I started maybe age 5, age 6, and I played the flute at the Wheelwright Museum. And I used to watch a lot of Robert Marable. He's an awesome person. He's a great guy, and I used to watch his DVD. I'm not sure what it's called, but I would watch it a lot. And Robert Marable has always been so kind to me. And I remember one time I saw him at the Santa Fe Indian Market, and he even gave me his badge. Yeah, he signed it. He signed his SWAIA badge and gave it to me. And I also had a flute. I think it might have been from him, or I might have just bought it from a flute maker. And it had a little buffalo on it, and Robert signed it, and that was awesome. Yeah, he's always been an awesome guy, but I haven't seen him in a long time. I think the last time I saw him was maybe elementary, and I hope to see him someday. He's an awesome person. And on the right side is a bolo tie. You can see that my drawing is going into my artwork, and it's a Navajo man. There's a side profile, and there's a mountain in the back, and he has a earring. You can tell I'm still trying to get the portions right as far as where the shape of the head, where the ear goes, and yeah, the proportions. So at age 12 to 13, I decided to do a painting, and my father at the time had a Harley Davidson Street Bob motorcycle. I remember he would always go for a ride. Sometimes he'd take me for a ride, and we would just cruise around town, and that was very awesome. And this was kind of like my anime phase. This was the middle school, and if you look at the Navajo man, he has big eyes, and yeah, that I think that's a little funny. And the helmet he's holding is a helmet that I wore when I would ride with my father, and yeah, it was very fun. So at the age of 12 to 13, there's more improvement. There's more improvement, and I'm starting to get more detailed. And I'm happy about that. So this is my great grandfather, Whitehair Begay. He I believe he's from Round Rock, Arizona. I've heard a lot of stories about him, a lot of great stories. And I also heard that he was a strong man, like a power lifter almost. There was this one story where Whitehair Begay won a little competition in the Round Rock, Arizona area. I guess they would come together, and it's like a powerlifting competition, and they would try to pick up these big boulders of rocks. And I think Whitehair Begay and another man were the only two people to lift up that boulder over their head. And it's like you have to pick it up and lift it over your head. And either that, or I think Whitehair Begay might have won by himself. But he's kind of the model behind my work. He's kind of, the influence. I really like how he used to dress. And there was a few photos that I couldn't find. And that's where I get my middle name from, Robert Whitehair Begay. Yeah, so that's very awesome. I'm glad to have that middle name. So here is a little, I guess, contribute to Whitehair Begay. It was definitely an influence. I made this around 15, 16. And the photo on the right is Whitehair Begay standing next to his wife, Marianne Begay. And I just really like how their style is. Whitehair Begay is wearing a collared shirt buttoned up, and he has a necklace with bracelets. I mean, that's kind of the classic Navajo look. And you can see it a lot in my artwork. And Marianne Begay, the beautiful lady next to him, she has the classic Navajo woman look. And yeah, it was just very fun. So in 2019 at SWAIA Indian Market, I won the Best of Youth Award. And I thought that was very awesome. It was very unexpected. I was surprised because I was always kind of overlooked as an artist. And I think people were definitely impressed with the bolo tie I made. And this was like the turning point. This gave me a better understanding of tufa. And it's just very awesome. Very awesome. And the same year, I actually entered in the Gallup Ceremonial, and the same thing happened there. It was back to back. It was for a bracelet titled Cheii's Land, and that was unexpected as well. Yeah, and the bolo tie is actually titled Cheie's Style because I liked his style. And if you look closely at the bolo tips by my fingers, there's coffee because he liked coffee. And I thought that was very fun and creative and unique. Here's a pendant of a side portrait. Definitely more improvement since the other bolo tie at age 9. Yeah, you can tell he's Navajo because of his bun, his Navajo bun, and the straight hat. And it's again inspired by Whitehair Begay. So this was a collaboration me and my father did, I think around 16. And it was a reversible pendant. And I just wanted to show my progression again in my figure drawing. And at first it was just supposed to be my pendant, but my father said, "Hey, we should collaborate." And I thought that was a good idea. So this is the piece that came out. And this was probably my third time having inlaid glasses, sunglasses. That was very fun. So mental health, this is kind of personal. This is a mental health bracelet I did. No one knows about it actually. I want to put this in here because I think it's awesome how I was able to interpret loneliness. So there's 2 corn stalks getting rained on, and they're kind of like human beings. And you have the corn stalks in the back, and they're human beings as well. They represent like the human, they represent people having a good time. people, seem happy. But the corn stalks getting rained on, they're sad. There's like I remember thinking loneliness is like a dark cloud that follows you. It can be a bright sunny day, 70 degrees, perfect weather, but you just feel sad. And I remember feeling low, and the rain represents like tears, and I just really think it's an awesome piece. Yeah. And the corn stalk on the left is watching, he's kind of watching the other corn stalks have a good time, and it also makes him feel sad also. But on the right side, there's a mountain that's like kind of in front of, or it's behind the other corn stalk, but it's meant to, like, he's meant to hide from the other corn stalk. They can't see each other basically, and but it gave me comfort knowing that I'm not the only person that feels this way. And I just think that was awesome. And here's some more photos of the finished piece. But now that was back in high school. I kind of transferred maybe 3 times or 2 times. I went to two schools, 2 different schools, and the first school I transferred to, it was my old school, and I knew a lot of people, but I just didn't like it there. So my best friend at the time, he was going to this charter school, and it was a school where you could get your high school diploma and an associate's degree. It was at the UNM branch in Gallup, and it was awesome because it was like a college schedule. So I only had 2 classes a day, and there was no school on Fridays. And it was good at first. The first semester was pretty good, but the second semester, it wasn't as great because my best friend, he had a different schedule as me, and I had another friend who went there too. It was a very small school. I remember there was only about five people in a classroom sometimes, maybe 10 to 13 at the most. And the second semester, our schedules didn't align, and I didn't really get to see my best friend. And my other friend, I only got to saw him on I only get to I only got to saw him on Tuesdays. See him on Tuesdays, and yeah, that was very depressing because I would spend most of my weeks just alone. And yeah, and I remember I just felt very lonely at the time when I made this piece, and and I was just feeling very sad. So I decided to go into our studio, and this is what came out. So this is something that is very special. No one knows about, and I just thought I'd like to share that. So around that time, later, well, actually, I transferred back to the school I went to my freshman year, and I was happy. I was happy there, but so I went there for half a semester, and I came back to the other school to finish the rest of the semester. But the next semester is when, it was January, March, around there. That's when the COVID happened. The COVID pandemic started, and I was just inspired to make a little series. So the pendant on the left is a Navajo man, and again you can see his glasses, but this time he's wearing a face mask and he's holding a Lysol spray. And yeah, that time it was very, very intense. A new outbreak, and I remember my parents would want me to disinfect and wipe down, the groceries we would buy. We would always use hand and sanitizer, always disinfect things. And so I think that's something we can all remember. And some of us probably still do. I know I still do a little bit. And on the right, I was a pendant I made, and it was titled Quarantine Cowboy. And this was inspired by Billy the Kid, kind of his look, his outfit. And I just thought that was fun to make because everyone was wearing face masks and people would use bandanas, and I remember there's a few memes online where where people would use crazy, outrageous face masks. I mean, I'm talking like even like a water jug. Yeah, it's hilarious. This was the next few pieces I made afterwards. On the far left was another pendant, and it's a Navajo man wearing a face mask, but this time he's holding toilet paper, and on both sides, and on his right hand he's holding. You can see the plastic bag, and I really like that piece. It's very fun. And then again, there's another Navajo man. This time it was a bolo tie. And he's holding paper, but this time he's holding a shotgun. And I think that was very fun because people were getting very scarce over toilet paper. I mean, they're freaking out. I remember when the pandemic first happened, I actually joined track. And at track practice, one of the students was telling the coach about how Walmart was out of toilet paper. And everyone is like, toilet paper? Why toilet paper? I can understand food, but why toilet paper? And I just thought that was, very interesting and definitely a highlight of the pandemic when it first happened. And on the bolo tips, in the middle bolo, there's actually toilet paper. Yeah, there's toilet paper and there's hazard signs. And there's hands kind of to like stay back. And it says 2020 on there as well. Now I thought this was definitely one of my favorite pieces. And on the right side is another Navajo man, and he's holding a toilet paper as well. And I actually entered this in 2020 at the Santa Fe Indian Market. I got top 5, and I don't think people were able to see. This is a piece that I wanted to get more. I wanted people to see because everything was online, and I didn't know how to operate the online Indian market, and I wasn't able to see my piece up there. And it's a Navajo man holding a revolver in his left hand, and he's holding toilet paper in his right hand. And you can see the small details, like the hat band, tiny small conchos in his hat band, and his earring, turquoise earring inlay. And if you look closely at his bolo tie, you can see a little stone in there as well. He has an inlay bolo tie, and he even has a bow guard with the hand that's holding the toilet paper. And his concho belt has inlay as well, little turquoise stone inlay. And as you get to the bolo tips, if you look closely, it says, "Stay back, your final warning." That was the title of the bolo tie. And if you look at the "Stay back" bolo tie, you can see that I included the 6 feet distance. and a little bit of a COVID symbol, kind of like a germ cartoon effect. And your final warning, there's the sun and there's a buffalo. The buffalo is like, stay back. Oh, your final warning, the buffalo doesn't mess around. And if you're to look at the full bolo tip, you would also see like two guards holding spears, and your final warning, they will attack. And yeah, this is another one of my favorite pieces of all time. And the revolvers on the bottom bolo tips are awesome. They're both hand carved, and it took a while. They definitely took a while, a long time. So moving on, this piece was a bolo tie as well, and it's of an eagle. But this was kind of symbolic, still tied to the COVID series. This was made around, I think, August of 2020, but it was kind of like symbolic for breaking free of that mentality. COVID definitely impacted a lot of people, even mental health. It was definitely a depressing time, and that was kind of like breaking free out of there. That was my thought when creating this piece. And at the bottom of the canyons, there's, it's kind of dead. There's cactus, it's dry, even the tree's dead on the left. And it's just like a caged bird breaking free out of that mentality, wanting change, wanting better, wanting to be better. So that was my thought into making this piece. And here are some more portraits done around the time. On the left side is portrait of a Navajo man again, and he's wearing a bandana, and this time he has a blanket covering him. And it's just very awesome seeing my progression in my carving and in my drawing skills as well. And he has a portrait, and the moon has a turquoise stone inlay. And on the right side is there was a photo taken. I'm not sure which tribe it was. When you look up photos on Google, they don't always give you a description, or they don't give you much details about which tribe, or they're not very specific, or they could be wrong. And so this is a Plains Indian portrait. I'm not sure if anyone's ever seen the photo of. There's about 4 to 5 Native men, and it looks like they're at a fair, maybe some type of rodeo or something, but they're sitting down and hanging out, standing next to each other, and some of them are smoking, and some of them are just watching and not smoking. And so this is one of them, one of the Plains Indian. And yeah, I just think it's very cool piece, one of my favorites of all time as well. My carving skills are slowly getting better and better, and there's actually, if you were to look real close at the cigarette in person, there's actually opal, and it's a little red, and it looks like the cigarette when it's burning. And I just thought that was awesome. That was something I wanted to add, and I did. And we have the inlaid glasses again. It's kind of like my signature, if you will. I really like the inlaid glasses. So I just wanted to show my progression since age 9 to recently. Yeah. The photo on the left is when is when I my first art class as a senior. My senior year, I decided to take an art class. I was very influenced by the world. Um, I didn't do any art classes until my senior year, um, because I guess I wanted to be perceived as cool, and to me, art was like something an introvert would do. The quiet kid that draws is what I thought of. So I didn't really want to do art, and it wasn't until I joined wrestling my junior year. My coach, he would always talk about how it's easy to follow the crowd. It's easy to do these things, to party and to get in that lifestyle. But it's no one wants to get serious. And so I stopped caring what people thought. And I went to an art class. I joined an art class and I really liked it. And I was very surprised that I could do that on the right drawing. It's a still life photo or still life drawing. It's like a Halloween mask. My art teacher, a Halloween mask. He used a Halloween mask, and he used shades and a face mask and a hat. And then in the background there's fabrics and a bottle, maybe an alcohol bottle, like rubbing alcohol. And yeah, it's just amazing. I didn't know I had this in me. And he was very surprised. He was very in awe of it. But I never got to see his expression because everything was online. But he typed with exclamation marks, and that's just very awesome. I wanted to show my progression. So I graduated. 2021 was like my self-awareness moment. At first, I wasn't even sure if I was going to go into art. Yeah. I mean, it sounds a little crazy talking about it now because telling my life story, you can tell that I've always been an artist. And if it wasn't for my coach or my dad, my father, I want to have like fell in love with art again. So I've been creating these pieces. This one is inspired by Santa Fe. There's a lot of like Pueblo style houses, and there's all kinds. They're spread out, especially on Artist Road. Is where this piece was inspired. And there's a comet, an opal comet inlaid, and a gold bezel moon inlaid, and the Pueblo style houses. And there's even a roadrunner on this photo. I mean, on this bracelet, but we didn't get a photo of it. So moving on, this one was very recent. It's inspired by Taos Pueblo, and I think it's a little difficult to get that perspective on Pueblo style houses. In the tufa, within the tufa technique. And I think I did a pretty good job at doing that. And it was very awesome. This piece took a long time. I'm very proud of it. Especially to get it at that angle. It's just very awesome. And then they have their corn row planted. And there's another hummingbird at the end of the corn row. And I just absolutely love this piece. It's so magical and so beautiful. So this is a bolo I did recently as well. I could be wrong. From my understanding, this is the Crow tribe. And I titled this piece Crow Fair Time because what my father says is that the Crow tribe likes to dress up during the fair time. And as you can see at the side of the bolo, I'm starting to incorporate more inlay, and that's something I really want to do more, is inlay. I think that really makes the piece pop, and it's just very awesome. And the bolo tips have inlay in the bottom as well. Yeah, and my signature glasses, inlay glasses. And yeah, this is from the photo I was talking about earlier, where there's these men hanging out together and they're smoking a cigarette, a few of them, maybe three. And I think this guy was from the photo as well, and I think he might have been smoking as well. I'm not sure where to find that photo, but yeah. So this was the COVID series again. I started this at age 16. The same time I started the other I did the other pieces for the COVID, like around the bolo tie area. And I didn't finish this until recently. And I actually entered it into the Heard Museum and I got a second place, which was very awesome. And I'm very thankful for that. And this is titled The People's Pandemic. The people being in the Dine. And the first piece is a belt buckle of a gas mask, a modern day gas mask. And he has inlaid goggles. And he's wearing a Dine headpiece. Something I think the men would wear, maybe going into war, I think. And then this is all tied together. They all have symbolic meaning. The next piece symbolizes quarantine. It shows a Navajo hogan, and there's a truck and corn. The corn is kind of tied towards me because when I was quarantined, I started planting a little bit. I think I was trying to plant corn, but I also would sprout other plants. So that was something that was fun to do. And then this is the mask mandate, the next piece. It's a side profile of the Navajo man again. He's wearing a face mask and he has an inlay earring. And he has a hat and a hat band. I just wanted to show my carving skills. I think, the tufa sometimes can be overlooked, but there's a lot of factors that go into the tufa. Freehand drawing and carving skills. That's something not everyone can do. Yeah. So, and then the next piece after that symbolizes the toilet paper shortage in the grocery store. And the Navajo man is actually holding it. He's holding a single toilet paper and he's like trying to run out the door with it. I thought that was very fun and very appropriate for the times. And the next piece is a horse running, and that symbolizes exercise. I know when I got quarantined, I definitely started to exercise a lot more, especially since I was in wrestling. But I would do it on my own, and I would just run a lot. I would run around the neighborhood and yeah, just really get that endurance. And I actually inlaid a kind of like a sun face almost in the sun in this photo. That was very fun to do. And then we have another mask portrait of the Navajo man. This time he has shades on. It's almost like Charles Lololamus shades. And yeah, he has an inlay earring as well. And then the next piece is a Navajo man, and it says, "Masks here, toilet paper for sale." I saw that on the reservation. I remember one time we were going to visit my grandma in Round Rock, Arizona, and on the way to Round Rock, we passed through Window Rock, and I remember we had to stop at a grocery store, And in the parking lot, there was these two men, and they were kind of like doing a little deal, a little trade, well, just a little deal, and this Navajo man gave another Navajo man some toilet paper and disinfectant wipes. Maybe he worked at a grocery store or something. And the other guy gave him money. And I would see, a lot of people trying to sell masks on the side of the road, their favorite football teams or just regular masks. And then the next piece shows is like spiritual. It has a teepee, and the teepee nowadays is used for like ceremonies and stuff. And people turn to who they believed in during that time for protection. And also the stars and everything. I remember hearing that since people were quarantined and they weren't able to drive around, the atmosphere got a lot better, and it kind of cleared up, and pollution and everything was lowered at the time. And I just think the world was kind of peaceful and quiet, and you could see the stars. So I wanted to capture that. And then the last piece is a Navajo family, mother and father with their two kids, son and daughter, and they're wearing face masks as well. It's kind of like the old face masks from World War One ish, and they're all taking a photo together, and that symbolizes gratitude for family, because we lost a lot of loved ones, and yeah, COVID definitely impacted us, and it's something I think we should remember. And yeah, so this is another recent bolo I did. This is titled Three Little Birds. I'm starting to play with inlay a little bit, especially kind of like Jesse Managi a little bit, where he puts them together and inlays them. I just wanted to try that for this piece. And this was inspired by the Bob Marley song Three Little Birds. And yeah, and this has a Apache blue turquoise for the bird in the middle, and coral and black jade along with ivory. And the bolo tips have coral inlay as well. I wanted to do something a little more contemporary for the bolo tips, and I just really like how they came out, and I think they look beautiful. So lastly, this is my most recent piece. I'm starting to, I want to do more inlay, and this was a ring I did, a maiden ring, and this took a while. I was trying to have it made before the herd, but time was short. Yeah, and I finished it afterwards, and I just really like how this piece came out, and I just think it's awesome, and I hope to do more inlay like this in the future. I really like how there's color and it pops. Well, now actually I'm going to show the tufa piece. Lastly, so this is the tufa in the rough. This is the tufa stone, and we cut it up. You want to try to get as many pieces as you can, some big, some small. And once it's cut up, you want to smooth it, top and bottom, and you want to map out your mold, whatever type of mold. If you want to make a bracelet or a ring, you map it out, and then you carve it. This piece is actually already casted, but this is the only piece I had that was already made, and this is actually my father's and his signature. And you see, once you carve your mold, you sprue it. You create the sprue so that the silver can be poured in there, and you create air vents so you can have a successful casting. So once you carve your design and you get two pieces together and you tie them together, and once you tie them, you set it up and you do a gravity cast. You melt whatever type of silver or gold, whatever metal you like, and you should get a successful casting. So once it's casted, this is actually a current project I'm working on. You get this. I don't know if I can get the lighting right. So you have the sprue and the air vents, and I just think it's awesome how far I've come. Um, since my early pieces, my early bolo ties. This one is actually gonna be a bolo tie, and it's gonna have side inlay as well. And this is inspired by the Plains tribe again. And then lastly, this is another piece I'm working on. It's like a little painting. It's a pendant, and this symbolizes the lazy person and the hard worker. The hard worker is in the middle, and he took the hard route, and yeah, he took the hard route, and now he's standing strong and firm, and on the corn stalks beside him represent lazy people. They choose the path with least resistance. They'd rather not do much, and they kind of have this weird shape, like they have no backbone. Maybe they don't exercise. And the cornstalk in the middle, the hard worker, he is cherishing the fruits of his labor. And that's my thoughts when I was making this piece. And it's gonna have inlay, and that's an awesome project I have coming up. So that's all I have, and I'd like to thank the audience for being here, and I'd like to thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. Yeah.
That was a spectacular presentation, Robert. Thank you so much for sharing so much of the personal part of your artistic journey. I think it was really wonderful to hear your first piece that you made at 4 years old, all the way up to pieces in progress. And I especially appreciate you sharing a little bit about the mental health bracelet. That was really wonderful to hear your personal perspective on that. So thank you. We only have a few minutes left here, but we're getting a lot of wonderful comments and questions thanking you for sharing your work. I have a few of my own questions that I would like to ask while we're waiting for some other ones to come in. It is just, your career is incredibly impressive for someone at any age. And I am wondering if you have any memory of even making that first bracelet when you were 4. Do you remember what that felt like?
Well, that was quite a ways back.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first piece I ever made, but I remember I would kind of make these like portraits of figures, and it was like my own figures. Like, it was inspired by SpongeBob, but I would have like all kinds of figures, and there would be all types of different shapes and sizes. And there was a lady, I forget her name. She would buy them, and there would be like concho belts and bracelets. And I remember me and my father, we would deliver it to her in Santa Fe, and she would always give me candy. Yeah, it was very. She passed away. I wish I could thank her again. Yeah, very beautiful memory.
Yeah, I have no memories from being 4 years old, much less anything to show from when I was 4 years old. That's just incredible. And so, obviously your parents have their own artistic practice, and I'm just wondering what it was like for you to grow up in such a fantastic family of jewelers and artists, and growing up in the markets and all of that. What was that like for you?
That was pretty fun, going in the markets. You would be able to get out of school, miss school, and I would be with my brothers, my 2 older brothers, and we would all go to the market. And I remember when my parents first won the best of show, at that age, you kind of don't appreciate things. So it was something that I thought that was cool, but I wasn't as excited. But I remember they were getting a lot of attention. And I remember at the best of show night, they're just getting a lot of attention. And I was kind of tired, uh, tired. And I guess I wanted to go back to the hotel room and sleep or something. And yeah, their work has definitely had an impact on my work, especially the figure drawings. And I really like how my father does his figure drawings. It's just awesome, very awesome. He is very, yeah. I think they're the best tufa casters. Uh, yeah, pretty much on top. And then you have the rest that like Rick Charlie and a few others that have awesome as well, awesome tufa carving skills as well.
Fantastic. So we are about out of time, and thank you, Robert, so much for your time. This has been a completely fantastic presentation, and I've really enjoyed learning more about you and your work, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Thank you. Yeah, my pleasure.